How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Fourever Arsenal. Another one coming off the back of a loss. They've been few and far between this season, but the last one was a 1-0 away loss to Newcastle, and this one is a 1-0 away loss to Villa. Jordan's smiling. I'm not too sure why.
No. I'm looking at some of the comments, but sorry.
Are you doing your comments of the day now?
No, I've got two, but I'm looking at some of the others. No. I've done my job.
You sure?
I'm just looking at two more.
Alright, say no more. Say no more. As you can see, we've got everyone back in the building, people. Hit the like button first and foremost. We'll discuss the loss to Villa. There's a lot to discuss, but what to discuss in particular is it's a hard one to really pin down. But I'm hoping some of the lads here can help. I know me and James have already spoken about having done the watch along. But yeah, Lee, let's start with you, man, because you was there as always. I saw your fan cam. Not happy to say the least. But wasn't it a game that we should have won? Didn't it feel like we was all over them at points?
Yeah, I think frustration is the word. I'm still frustrated about it now. I didn't think we played bad on the day, I'll be really honest. Just a couple of things wound me up because, just out of frustration more than anything else, because I did think that we played well. We didn't start the game off well, I have to say that, a little bit sloppy at first. But they carved us open with a good goal, and then I felt that we missed a few chances. Couple of real good chances. Martinelli was unlucky with his one. Odegaard, if you're not going to hit that first time, then you're taking 3 or 4 touches. You must finish it after that, and he didn't. It was a decent save from Martinez, but he should score. In the second half, I felt that it was a good chance again that he should have done after some good work from Havertz. Penalty, I'm not so sure about. Didn't even know it from where I was looking. This is the trouble when you're in the stadium as well. You don't even know that it's what's being checked and what it's for and whatever. And the handball, I think that could have gone either way. I think there is a call for me to say that I've watched it a few times. I don't really know. Did Eddie get a touch on it? If he did, I think it may have well been given, but. I see different things being given for different things and fouls and whatever but really just general frustration really about the performance, and what really frustrates me a little bit more than probably it should do is that every time we've expected to win games, the 2 games could actually not win, we've lost, being Newcastle and Aston Villa, and I think that, to be honest, I don't think we done enough probably to win against Newcastle, but this one I felt we did. I felt we'd done enough to definitely not lose the game, and it was just a little bit real frustration, and and there's worrying signs with Arsenal at this moment in time. I've got to say that, and I'm not because we've lost the game, and I keep saying this now, and I'm gonna bring it up because I was talking about it today. The goalkeeping situation from last season is we all know what that is. But Ben White, nowhere near at the standard that he was last season. Shinchenko, nowhere near at the standard that he was last season. The front 3, nowhere near at the standard that they were last season. Nowhere near it. And of course then you take out Xhaka, who was superb in that side as well. I don't think that we've played really, really well in any away game this season. We've done okay and we look good and whatever, but really took a team apart, and I felt there were times on Saturday that we could have done, but it's like we're playing with the handbrake a little bit defensively. I don't know. The two central defenders have been on point all season. I have to say that, but every other position, Odegaard nowhere near at the levels of last season, nowhere near. And what's frustrating is. And I can see it, guys. I can really see it. And maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. That I've got a feeling that Liverpool are going to win this league, and we're going to be kicking ourselves because of it. Because of what's happened. If we could get that form of last season, I think we could win the league. But what I'm seeing, I'm not convinced with, and frustration is starting to boil in now with these away performances. Even though look, listen, we're second in the league and things like that, but. Villa catching up on us now. City caught up on us another 3 points there, and we've got difficult game against Brighton, and then Liverpool. I'm afraid we're probably going to have the same sort of performance and end result.
I think it's still very early to say Liverpool. Even though the way I've been speaking about it the last couple of days or since the result, because the way I see it is, if it wasn't to be City's year this season, it has to be ours.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I see it. Regardless of Liverpool having players that have been there and done that, and that's you've got to respect that, because that goes a long way sometimes. I think that having to rebuild your whole midfield in one summer is a big transition to go through. Whilst Arsenal seem on the upward trajectory, if City are to lose one, rarely they do, but if they are to lose one, then I just felt that this season it has to be us. Now I'm not here saying Liverpool are going to do it. I think it'll be a freeway race. I don't know when people will fall at what hurdle. I can't say that yet, and Man City included in that. I can't say that they'll be there till May this season, because I haven't really been impressed by them so far. But I haven't been impressed by us. But throughout the season, Lee, you said the attack hasn't been the same as last season. Now that you're looking at defensively, not the same. You mentioned a whole heap of players that haven't been the same. James, earlier on in the season, a lot of people were mentioning how the reason for that is because of the tactical tweaks and having more control of games, and having more control of games is less exciting. Some of the attack might suffer from that, but Lee actually makes a good point. Overall, when you look at multiple positions, goalkeeper included, there hasn't been much improvement in those areas, aside from Rice, who's come in and listen. Wherever, if he's in the 8, he's improved that position. If he's in the 6, he's improved that position in a different way that Thomas Partey did last season. But other than that, none of the players that performed at a high level for the majority of last season seem to be doing it yet, which might be a good thing. That might be to come. But I don't know. What do you make of it, James?
Well, okay. I've got a lot. Listen, I'm critical of a lot of things from that game. As you know, Turkish, I was with you all day for it and in the fan cam and full time after. But on the question of whether we've improved, I think it's very easy to say no. Look, we haven't. Our points tally after 16 games is no better. You might think, I can hear the comments now. You might think this is crazy, but I'd argue we were more dominant in this game at Villa Park than we were last season. Last season, very end-to-end, conceded a lot of chances, conceded 2 goals. I think after the first 10 minutes, we were in total... I don't like using the word control when you're not winning the game. I feel like you have to be winning the game, or at least level to be controlling a game. We're certainly the more dominant, having all the chances, most of the ball, winning the ball back high up the pitch. And St James's Park, we created more chances last season, but we also, again, we could have been 2-0 down in the first 10 minutes there last season. And actually, we had to do a lot of last-ditch defending, a lot of backs against the wall. Whereas, this game at St James's Park, they had nothing. In the whole 90, they had nothing. So it's kind of how you want to see it. Like, what's being better? Is it conceding less but creating less? Or I'll put that out to the comments. I'm just putting that side out there. I don't think we are as good as last season, but I'm not convinced that we won't be by the end of, come March, April. I'm very open to the idea that this version of Arsenal is better come the end of the season, when I think our fluidity has improved in the last 4 or 5 games. We do actually look like we'll create chances in games. We are looking a little bit more inventive. I think that's my biggest frustration about the Villa game is I was anticipating 10 minutes where we have a lot of the ball, then doing a lot of defending, then really pressing us and suffocating us having to really weather a lot of storms throughout the game. Actually, we didn't have any of that. We had 10 minutes where we conceded a goal that you've got to give them credit. It's a really good goal, but I still look at Ben White and a few others in that. And then I look at us creating chance after chance after chance. And, some people were asking me, well, what were the big chances? I don't think a chance has to just be like a great shot on goal from a great area. For me, Bukayo Saka, time you run better and you're in. That's a chance for me. Like, space to attack, that's a chance. Martinelli, if you're lifting it over Martinez, either lift it into the net or lift it enough to get around and put it, but he kind of didn't either. That's a chance. Erdegaard had great chances in that game too, for sure. The Havertz one, even though it's a handball, that's a chance to score. Eddie, at the end, there were moments. Arsenal could easily have got something out of this game. So I feel very weird about it because because I think there was a lot of good. But I also feel like Liverpool in that game would have killed Villa. I think with that space and those chances, I think they'd have scored 3 or 4. So that's concerning as well. So I'm not in some like overly like I'm not overly emotional one way or the other about this performance. I just am a bit confused. Like I don't really know what to make of it because there was actually quite a lot I liked, but there was like a lot that really made me want to tear my hair out.
Jordan, I haven't spoken to you yet at all about this. So talk to me,
I,
man.
I think I'm probably the most positive person in the fan base off the back of this, which will surprise a lot of people. Losing was disappointing, but you've framed the question in the context of what this result means for our season, right? And if I look at our season, we're in the top three. We're a couple of points off top of the league.
One.
We've beaten 1 point top of the league. We've beaten Manchester City. I think our away performances this season have been good to very good. And we're where I wanted us to be come Christmas time, which was part of the pack. And we're not playing amazing football. It's not scintillating, exciting, free-flowing, goals everywhere football. But yet we're in the pack. And I think there's another level to go. Aston Villa are a really good team. I was saying to my dad called me earlier on, he's a Chelsea fan. He's in tears. He's in tears. He's in absolute bits. And it's funny that Arsenal can lose a game and yet still laugh at United and Chelsea supporters this weekend, because although we lost to probably the most informed team in the league away from home and in a game that we should have won. So I get that the big takeaway from this particular game is we lost. Cool. So the binary facts are you lost. You got 0 points. Everything else is conjecture. I get that. But we lost to a very good team. That's Villa Park away ticked off. So we haven't got to go Villa Park come second half of the season. I'd expect to beat them at the Emirates, especially if we play like that again. I'm actually quite positive about where we are. And the fact that we can say the better team lost, because as James says, James is right. After their goal, I don't remember them doing anything. I mean, forget...
They had the one Watkins chance where
They did, sorry.
didn't know if it was offside or not, but yeah.
Right. So we lost the game, cool. That's not good. But we're in a good place. My biggest frustration is more the fact that while City aren't quite right, we're not capitalising on that by trying to build a little bit of a buffer. Because though Liverpool are the team right now to catch, I get that. I think ultimately City will be the team that are the team to be. So the fact we're not trying to build up a little bit of a buffer in this time where City are a bit vulnerable. I don't think they're playing as poorly as people think, as people say. The Spurs game, they should have won. The Wolves game they lost, they should have won that game. So even the games they're losing and drawing, I think they're being a little bit unlucky.
Same with Liverpool. They should have beaten Liverpool.
They should have beaten Liverpool in that game. So Man City aren't playing awfully, but they're dropping points.
If it last season after 16 games, it was 15 wins, 1 loss, right? Can you imagine
14,
we would
14,
be on
1
40,
and 1.
Can you be? We would be on what then? 43 points right now. That would be 6 points above Liverpool, 7 points above Man City. That's the buffer. That's the buffer you mean? I mean, but last season was nothing short of
It was a madness.
Immaculate start to the season.
It was a freak. It was a freak. And I've said before, we need to be very careful about comparing our start this year to the start last year. Because the start last year was a freak. What we did between August and Christmas was an absolute madness. It's very, very hard for even City to do that. It's not easy. So I wouldn't compare it to last season. I think we're in a good place. I think we're playing the performance against Aston Villa gives me encouragement, Turkish. If we lost 1-0 and we weren't creating chances, we were battered, I'd be concerned. But whilst I'm disappointed we lost the match, and we did, there's some big misses there, I'm a little bit encouraged by the fact that we are playing well, in my opinion, and I believe there's a couple of levels to go. So we lost, not great. Odegaard is my guy. I'm biased. I love Odegaard. He's got to score those 2 goals. Simple. Lee mentions that the penalty incident. I don't think the Jesus clip was a penalty, personally. The old seen it given. I don't think it's a penalty. The Havertz handball, I'm with Lee. I've watched that over and over again. I'm struggling to see where, maybe I'm just blind, I'm getting old. I can't see where he's handballed the ball. And if he has, Matty Cash has handballed it first. He's handballed it first.
That's the thing, yeah.
So I'm baffled there.
I
And my
don't care
only
who finished it because I don't. So a lot of people are arguing about who finished it. I don't care who finished it. The handball, when you're that close to another player, Cash handballed it, Havertz handballed it, Cash handballed it, Havertz handballed it. How can? But the thing about that one, Jordan, because it's not often you bring up referees, and it's not often I then interject to talk about referees. But that referee decided to blow his whistle at that time. VAR actually couldn't come to a conclusion. VAR didn't say, yes, you're right.
That's a
VAR
great
said,
point.
listen, we
Great point.
can't turn your decision around. So if he didn't blow his whistle, they couldn't turn that decision around either. So that whole decision lies on that referee, and there should be punishment for it.
I hear you, and I know you're not doing this, but I look at responsibility. We had enough chances to win the game. So I'm not going to, I don't think as a fan base we can, and I know you're not doing this, but we can't say that's the reason we didn't win the game because we created more than enough to dead the game. 2 points on Villa. One, their goal was brilliant. And I watched the goal many, many times. And short of kicking them, like just overtly kicking them, I'm not sure that goal's stoppable.
No,
Watch it again. I'm not actually sure where you stop that goal. Like, it's a really high quality goal. And the second thing, they've got some CUNTs in their team, and I'm not mad at it. They've got 2 or 3 players in their team who are just like, nah, they're bastards. But
I
I'm not mad
can't
at it.
spell.
No.
Do you know what's the biggest disappointment
James.
for me? Do you know what the biggest disappointment for me, and it is a bit of a worry, is that I think and that Aston Villa really played into our hands a little bit. They played a high line, a real high line, and that should really work into the favour of Saka and Martinelli. And we never fed that once. There was opportunities that them two made their runs, and we just were reluctant to play the ball to them. Stopped and went back. Shinchenko done it on more than one occasion. Declan Rice done it on 3 occasions when Havertz was going through. All it was a nice little ball through, and we was 1-on-1 with goalkeeper. We'd done it once in the whole game was when Martinelli went through and he chipped it over. They were playing that high line, and we've got these speed merchants. Saka's fast, Martinelli's fast, Jesus is fast. And I thought, I was saying at half time, if they carry on playing this, we're going to get in. And there was a reluctance to play that ball. And it's true what my mate said, I was sitting with a table turned around and said, it's like there's a arrogance with Arsenal that they've got to walk the ball in the back of the net at times. They've got to make these perfect passes and all that. Like he said, it's just one ball and get it in. And do you know what? That was disappointing for me. So what is it? Teams are going to play a high line, knowing that Arsenal are going to try and play football. I don't know. I felt it was on the cards there for really Martinelli and Saka to really express themselves yesterday, and they wasn't given the ball in the right areas to do that, and they wasn't doubled up. They wasn't doubled up like normal. They had a little bit more freedom, and we just the reluctance not to play that pass was really frustrating.
I think it's fair to say that the two things can be true in that I think Emery's the way he set up Aston Villa where they played was really, really they defended, I think, really, really well. But also, as you say, Lee, how they defended was almost what we would have wanted them to have done to exploit their defending. So I watched the game and I thought Emery just did. He knew what he was doing. He was very, very aggressive. They deliberately kicked us and ruffled us. And I think that got some joy in their set for them. They got all the home decisions. That's fine. But also, having said that, playing so high as you say, Lee, you would have thought if Arteta could have chosen a defence to go up against, it would have been a high line because we've got the tools to really hurt them. A couple of players I wanted to flag as well. Sorry, James, just quick. Zinchenko, best and worst. First half, I thought he was awful defensively. Really, really bad defensively in that first half. Gave the ball away 3 or 4 times, got beat 2 or 3 times. Shocking. Second half, we saw on the ball why he's in the team. we saw on the ball exactly because he's technically very gifted. Couple of times thinking it over, I thought he was the one that was really trying to get attacks going from deep. And Kai Havertz, I thought another really impressive game.
Very good.
Arguably, probably our best player. I thought
I
he
think he
wasn't. He didn't have many highlighty things to show, but the 3 or 4 things that he did in the game were excellent. They were excellent. The 3 or 4 incidents that he contributed to the attack, I thought were high quality and were very, very good.
Yeah, I liked Havertz's performance. And I was. He's the one who squares it for Erdegaard, doesn't he, when he puts it wide in the second half. Like, he's getting quite good at that run, the sort of underlap or that kind of channel run and cut back. And he's the one who nearly gets us the goal. We could talk about so many things, like, the whole referees, PGMOL thing. I do have a major problem with the PGMOL for from this weekend and referees and all that. It's not actually from Arsenal's game. I tweeted that, look, yeah, I personally think it is a penalty. I don't think it's egregious. I don't think it's the worst I've ever seen. And I think the rule, whether it's the rule or the application, whatever it is, it's nonsense. I think the goal we scored should stand. It's ricocheted off a couple hands. No one's gained any advantage from this situation. They've knocked it in the back of the net. Let the goal stand. But I appreciate you going to the details of the law. I think I might be getting it wrong, but I think it was Gary Lineker who might have said, so basically a defender can accidentally handball it, but a striker can't. It's a load of nonsense. I thought, and I know it's an Arsenal podcast, but I thought, and this is how you know I'm not biased, okay? Because I want City to drop points. But how Luton and I can't remember which player it was, didn't have a player sent off. Did you see it?
Yes.
I started jumped into Foden.
It's a red.
Yeah.
It's a red. It's a red.
Fucking outrageous.
It's a red.
They looked at that for a good 2-3 minutes, only to come to the conclusion it's fine. Idiots. And then the Romero one as well. On the back of the ankle. He's nowhere near the ball. He's just a reckless... and let me not start.
That's a red, yeah.
That's a red as well. So, these standards, this is why am I highlighting this, people? Because it's a perfect opportunity for when something does legitimately go against Arsenal, and everyone goes, you're crying. No, I'm just talking about the nonsense that continues to happen in this league. I don't think we were totally subject to that over the weekend, but certainly other clubs were. You said there's nothing you can... So there was a lot of praise for Villa from you, Jordan, and I understand it, right? Because I have to pull myself back and go, Aston Villa, big club, but not Arsenal, Man City, have maybe a bigger club than City. People will argue that. I'm not getting involved. Aston Villa beat City and then had us on the weekend. And Emi Martinez, who I despise, a bit harsh, he said in his interview, he went, I've never seen a team do what we did to City. And then against Arsenal, we had to suffer. And I thought, that's a very fair assessment. Fair play to you, mate. And he was spot on. So I have to give credit to Villa that 2 very tough games and they kind of 2 1-0 wins. But I didn't think they defended well. I think the amount of chances we had, we kept winning the ball off them with the press. Like, we were just chance after chance. Like, I wasn't impressed by them, bar the first 10 minutes where they really kind of almost blew us away a little bit. And then the goal, I agree, the build-up and everything is superb. I think Bailey just does, Gabriel, whoever it is. I'm looking at Ben White, people. I don't like the idea that John McGinn, talented player, has spun you and got a shot away, and it's not found the top corner. It's not found the furthest angle of the net. I wonder whether Raya could do better, but that's probably harsh because he can't really see it because White's in front. For me, you've got to get your body in the way of that. He's trying to put it on his left. He is. Get your body in the way. So I was disappointed by that, but maybe I'm being too harsh. I wanted to know what you guys thought of it.
I think Ben White's been not his best just in general. I think as Lee said at the start, but this is not the Ben White of last year. And there may be reasons for that, but his level's dropped. His of all the players in the squad, his level's probably dropped the lowest since last year.
His defending's looking quite lazy, Jordan. And lazy, I think, it's a very almost personal thing to throw at a player, right? To say, you're lazy, you're not working as hard, you're not doing because you don't know that. Like, they could just be out of form, they could just be whatever. But I mentioned the Luton third goal where I just thought he did not do enough to get back into position and then to get out to to Barkley before he scored and all that. I didn't like his contribution to that. And then with the McGinn goal, I think he's trying to get in position, but I just think get tight, be aggressive, stand firm,
Yeah.
block the shot. Like Ben White, and I'm only saying because I believe Ben White's a good enough footballer. Now look, players make mistakes, errors happen, but this is why I won't talk much about the refereeing decisions for this game because, okay, the ref made an error, maybe VAR made an error. Tell you what errors we made. Ben White on the goal, Erdegaard missing a chance, Martinelli, Saka not holding their line, or Saka not holding that. Like, we made mistakes. We made mistakes. And so while I'm encouraged, I'm like Jordan, I'm weirdly quite positive about the team. Went to Villa Park and played really well. That's a good sign. But we have to take responsibility for why we didn't win that game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ben White, everybody knows I'm a massive fan of his, I am. Best English defender in the league last season, in my opinion. This season, nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I don't think he's aggressive in his tackle. He's not aggressive in shutting down, is what you're saying, James. He's not aggressive in that. It looks like he's going through the motions a little bit, maybe he's carrying injury. I'm not saying all that. He's not nowhere near attacking as much as he was last season. As it happens, Ben White is a very, very good footballer. Very, very good footballer for a central defender. But he's not contributing as much as what he was last season. Whether he's being told that or not, I don't know. But I thought his levels have dropped dramatically at this moment in time. A bit of a worry, I'm not going to lie. Those sort of I think someone told me this today. Since Tommy Asu's been out, that's is it four? When was the last game that he played? But we conceded 3 at Luton when he's not there.
Yeah, one against Wolves.
One against Wolves, because he come off then, didn't he?
Yeah, he came off. So we've conceded 5 goals with him not on the pitch.
5 goals since he's been off. That tells you a lot, So it is a big worry.
Sorry, Lee. I want to ask you actually. Do you think, and this may be a massive stretch here, do you think there's any correlation with how he left the England squad in the World Cup?
I think he come back and performed really, really well after that, And I don't know. I think he knows he's not going to be in the World Cup squad. Listen. We're defending a lot better in game time and all that, but I don't think that certain situations we're not defending well, like corners, we're looking a little bit more vulnerable. I don't know why. I thought Raya played everything he done all right yesterday. I've seen the goal. I think I agree with James. I think you're going to be. It's a little bit harsh if you're going to blame him for that. But then I see last season against Villa. 2-2 and an unbelievable save from Ramsdale that kicks us in it and we go and win the game. Brilliant. These are things that I want to see outstanding saves. I see outstanding saves from Ramsdale last season that kept us in games, and then we go and win it. Tottenham, I can go on.
Yeah,
I'm not blaming Raya, but don't get me wrong on this, because I thought he made a couple of good saves, and I think actually it was a good performance from him considering what happened against Luton. And the fans, I don't know if you got it on TV, where every time he got the ball were really putting it on him, pumping him and all that. And I also think, I don't know if it come up. I'm not making an excuse on that. Also, the wind and everything was horrendous yesterday as well. So I don't think he was flapping or anything like that. So I think it was a sound performance from him, But something is not quite right with us at something there, And I actually thought at half time. I genuinely thought, we was going to come back and win the game. I really did. I thought we was in a good position to do it and all that, and as you say, we didn't really cause any problems to us in the second half. We had the platform to go on. It's just something not quite right in the team, I'm going to be really saying it now, I'm a massive Martinelli fan, as everybody knows, but I'm fed up. I'm a little bit fed up with him at the moment. Every time, cutting inside. He's got to take his man on. He cuts inside. He plays it down. He goes over about 4 times, being injured and putting up his arm. And then he gets up and you think, get up and get on with, get on and take on your fullback and beat your man. And he's not quite at it this season. And I don't know why. You know what I mean? and I'm really looking at him yesterday. That was his game yesterday. It was like plenty of space behind. There is times at the Emirates I don't think it is his game because he's got, he's only got 10 yards to work with. He had 30, 40 yards to work with there, and he never really frightened their fullback. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got pace, he's got ability. He never really put their fullback under some sort of pressure. I think Saka tried it, didn't work for him yesterday. But for me, I was very, very disappointed with Martinelli. Watching it back today, every single time he gets the ball and he cuts inside and he plays it inside and get in and take on your man, and that didn't do it enough for me.
I said Martinelli was probably his worst performance in an Arsenal shirt, maybe full stop, definitely for a little while. And I love Martinelli.
Yeah, we all do.
But Jordan said. But Jordan said Ben White's not the same as last season. You said Martinelli's not the. Every player we can go through.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier on.
Every player we can go through and say similar. But at the same time, I'll caveat that.
We're 1 point off the top.
Before we move on, I won't caveat with 1 point off the top because I feel like.
But we won last season.
I feel like if Man City won Man City, they could potentially be 7 points clear of us now. The reason it's still tight is because a few of us haven't really, done the immaculate thing, which we've seen multiple times over the last 6 years. Liverpool done it the year they won it. Man City done it multiple years. If someone started the season similar fashion to how we started it last season, or seasons that how Liverpool started it in their league winning season, they'd be clear now, or 6-7 point gap. But I'll caveat it with what James said. I think when I watch us, we are close to, in my opinion, seeing a top Jesus, seeing a top Saka, seeing a top Martinelli, seeing a top defensive unit again. It's hard to put my finger on what it is and when it might come and why it's not here. But I do feel like we are close to and if that comes in February, March, then in my opinion, we win the league. But the thing about it is that will define the season. If it comes, I think we can win. I think we'll go on to win the league. If it doesn't come, then it can get very messy as well, because the expectation is sky high now. The expectation is a league challenge at the bare minimum. So if we're not in it come April, May, and the reason is because some tweaks tactically have caused it, there's going to be a lot of questions asked about that. Because if it's not Man City, it has to be Arsenal. And even with Man City, firing like they was at the end of last season, I still, think Arsenal, if we kicked on from last season, would have been there or thereabouts. It's not a 90-point season this season. Liverpool, City, Arsenal, no one's getting 90 points.
No. Can I ask a question? Because I was right. I was only a couple of rows in front of Mikel, for the game. Do you think him not being in? I had a little chat with Edu at half time, but that's another story anyway. Do you think him not being on the line contributed yesterday?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't.
I think we played. That was one of our best performances of the season.
It was. And I'd argue if Odegaard takes one of his two chances, Martinelli does a bit better when he rounds the keeper. There's a couple of goals there. You go on to win. I predicted 4-1. I think you score one of those goals. I think the floodgates open potentially then. So I don't think it had an impact. Not personally, no.
Well, we have passed the half an hour mark, so make sure we're on 1,000 likes, people. An unfortunate loss that, I say unfortunate because we should have won the game. But we do still lie second, like Jordan just said, 1 point off the top. So it isn't a damning blow on our season, but it would have been definitely nice to send a message, I think. I think with what Martinez said, James quoted it there, and how they beat City compared to how they beat us, I think there's still some good to take from that. But the reality is we both got 0 points, so it doesn't matter how much of a fight you put up. If you didn't get
Turkish, I'm going to be really honest. I was talking to a lot of Aston Villa fans after the game, and they was all, when you think, they've been patronising or whatever, but they was all saying how impressed they were with Arsenal, how impressed they were, much better than City. He said, I was talking to one Aston Villa, said, I'd be very surprised if you don't go and win it. You look far better than any of the other teams that we played this season. So you have to take the positives from it. I think that's why we're all a little bit frustrated and a little bit about it, really. I am really just frustrated about it because I think, I thought we played well. So we sort of nitpicking really at performances and whatever. Like, you know, it was a frustrating night. That was frustrating.
This might sound crazy because I'm talking about the treble winners, and then I'm talking about a Liverpool side of a manager have gone and done it. But I think we have, when you see Liverpool, what are they known for, right? They score loads of goals. And what are Man City known for? You know, they've been controlling games, like the way they've just suffocated teams out of games, you know, last season and stuff. I think we've got the potential to be a really good cross of, like, we've got the electric wingers that all bag goals and assists at times. Jesus linking it up. And I think we've got that ability. You know, we've got a proper back four, a proper number 6 that sits in front. I think we can be a really complete team. But in the last 4 or 5 games, where we've started to look a more cohesive attacking unit, we've conceded a goal against Wolves, 3 against Luton, a goal against Villa. And before, where we didn't look as attacking or whatever, you actually thought, probably back us for a clean sheet, though, unless we make some error. So if Arteta can just get that balance right, and part of getting that balance right is going to be Timber coming back, Partey staying fit, please stay fit, and then 1 or 2 signings in January. And then you're adding 4 players that hopefully can make a big difference.
Is it good that it's a dead rubber match this coming week?
Yeah.
Yeah? Because I've seen some people say a more competitive game would have been better, or now everyone's shaking their head.
Yeah, but I just know Mikel Arteta is not going to put out the under-18s. I know he's not. I want to feel like it's the summer friendlies. I want to feel like it's the Dubai Cup or whatever it was we played in. I want to sit there and just go, how you know, what are you up to, Turkish? How's life? You know,
I think he's got to put out obviously not a full strength 11, of course. He's got to put out some first teamers.
Why?
I think he does. I think we still.
I think he's got to, only because you've got you put a European squad down, didn't you? Do you know, like you have to put forward a Champions League squad of players. So
only 3 man.
I don't know if some of them are going to be in that or not, because I'm talking about Wolves. Is he in that squad? Wanyeri, are they in that squad? I'm not sure.
I think that might be to a certain age bracket, though. I might be wrong.
I don't know.
I feel like an academy player wouldn't count, but I mean, okay. But what I'm saying is, if I see Saka playing,
I'll be pissed.
Any legitimate part of that game, William Saliba, you know, these players that are. He's got to rest that whole back four for me. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I want to see Cedric, Walters, Kivior.
Nah.
But do you know you're going to laugh at me when I say this. You're going to laugh at me. Do you know who I want to see him go on Tuesday?
Raya?
No.
Behind.
Yeah. I don't want to see Ramsdale in there. I don't want to see Ramsdale playing against a makeshift back four and things like that. Give it to the other goalkeeper. Let him have a bit of experience. I'm for it. Because you know what? It doesn't matter if we lose 10-0, we still top the league. Don't matter if it doesn't matter.
The result doesn't matter to me. But it
doesn't matter at all.
The 11
it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything.
I think if you just put out 11 kids, I still think trying to win the game is important. And by putting out 10 kids out of 11 from the usual starters...
No, we ain't good at our children. Jorginho's going to play. El Nenny's going to play.
No, but...
Kivio's going to play.
Okay, so sorry, I thought I got the impression that you were saying...
No, up front.
I was being hyperbolic.
Nelson, Trossard and Eddie. So that's a decent three. I'm talking about, like, I'm with James on that. None of the back four play. Walters, who's ever left back in the youth team? He plays, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then in the midfield, Jorginho, El Neni, Wanyeri or someone like that, you know what I mean? Miles Scully getting a game, you know? Some of those kids that are getting games.
In the midfield, that midfield's too weak. That midfield gets battered.
Don't matter. I don't care.
I don't want to get battered. I know it doesn't matter, but we don't want to get battered. It's not a good look.
But listen, they might be doing the same because they've qualified. They've got big games coming up, so they might turn around and go, do you know what? We're putting a few of our kids as well. Like I don't really know, to be honest, how this game's going to actually go. If I'll be honest from that point,
I just want it on record. that Lee called Miles Lewis Skelly. He called him Miles Scully, but this is fine.
What is it,
I
Skelly?
heard that.
Miles Skelly. Miles
I
Skelly. I
heard-
always get them wrong anyway. Like,
I
you know
know.
what I mean?
I heard
So-
it. I went. I'm not sure about that.
I know his mum as well, so that's bad of me. Like, you know what I
That's
mean? So,
even worse. Yeah.
it's even worse. Marcia will be having a go at me now, like, you know what I mean? So, oh dear.
I
No,
agree
but I'm
with
with
you.
you.
Marcia's son, there you go. Marcia's son, there you go.
Marcia's
Much
son.
better, like, how about that?
I give these people minutes.
I'm
The
with
only
Lee.
thing. Oh, go on.
We say James.
Oh, James has signaled on a madness.
Oh, sorry. The only thing you might have to do is play Havertz.
Oh, yeah, this wasn't supposed to happen on this new device.
He's struggling. He's struggling. But whilst he fixes his problem there, I agree with Lee. I think that front three, Eddie, Trossard, and Reece Nelson, Jorginho, El Nene in midfield.
Trossard, Havertz. Get him another goal.
One of the youngsters, put one of the youngsters in there. Nice PSV away, Champions League night. Defense, I'm with what James said defensively. Cedric and Kivior and who else we got?
Walters.
Walters.
Just fling anyone in.
Fuck it, play Ramsdale
Yeah,
centre
man.
back. Why not? Play him centre back. Give him his Champions League debut at centre back. Ping the balls. But yeah, I mean, James, was you going to say something? Because I think your audio's back
Yeah.
now, so we can hear you.
That Havertz will probably play because Vieira's out, Smith Rowe's out, Erdegaard shouldn't play. And you know what? I don't mind that because Havertz is playing quite well, so keep him getting minutes.
Havertz has got to play.
So I don't mind. That's probably the only one I don't mind. But yeah, I think is that Lino Sousa? Is he the other young left back that they're talking about?
Yeah.
Give him a game. I don't want to sit here and say I don't care about the result, and then we lose 5-0, and I'm sat there saying like I feel like we should make all those changes, play in second gear, and not lose drastically. Like I still think that's a fair expectation, but I just think we've had a lot of intense games. You know, the team's been readjusting to being back in the Champions League. I say readjusting. This team's never been in it. As a club, we have. As a team, we haven't. We've got Brighton on the weekend. We do not like Brighton at the Emirates. We don't like it. So I would like to see us looking really fresh going into Brighton and then Liverpool and then West Ham and then Fulham and the inevitable how many points out of 12 do you expect? I think we can get 10. I think we can get 10 out of that. I really do. I think we can get a point at Anfield and I think we should expect to win the other 3. And then whatever happens, whatever Liverpool do, if you can come out of that a point behind Liverpool, because if you do that, you're at the worst a point behind Liverpool, right? Who are top. And by the way, if we do that, City also wouldn't be ahead of us in those. They couldn't, even if they win the next 4, they still couldn't. They'd still be a point behind us. So if we put that up and we come into the new year, January 1st, a point ahead of City, a point behind Liverpool, with the transfer window, players coming back fit, I think it's a great position. And I'd rather the players are saved for that than giving them, training minutes against PSV. We are
Brighton,
done.
by the way, have got Marseille, but they've qualified. But there's 1 point in it, so to go top. So it's a shootout who goes top. So they're going to have to take that. They ain't going to be like in the position that we are, where we can rest players, and they've also got 2 days less than us. So I think it's no excuses really going into that Sunday game. We should be fresh and ready for Brighton.
And Lee,
Brighton could be a little bit,
That's not unimportant for them because if you finish second in the Europa, you play the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly that.
In a playoff. So, you don't want that. It's basically win now and get first, or slog it out against a Champions League side over 2 games.
They don't want that. So it's a big game for them.
Yeah,
big game.
agreed.
Could be United.
I don't think they could play.
No, they can't get United, can they?
But in principle, I love the trolling. Yes, it could be.
Oh, okay, that's why I didn't know that. Sorry.
Is it too early to talk about must wins and must not loses and stuff like that? I'm talking about league here because I think the loss against Villa means Brighton's a must win and Liverpool's a must not lose now.
Those 2 points against Luton, vital. I know it sounds silly, but those 2 points at Luton now, if we'd have dropped points at Luton, that would have been 5 points dropped in 2 games. That was a massive 2 points.
You're right, Lee.
And it's now a massive, massive game on Sunday because I'm going to say it, lads. We will drop points at Liverpool, whether it be a draw or defeat. I can't see us going there and winning. I really can't with the way we.
I can.
Yeah, well, I'm not convinced. Every time we've played up a team that we've played 2 teams away from home which are difficult, and we've lost both 1-0. So it doesn't look good. But I know what you're saying. But listen, beat Brighton. And if we do drop points against Liverpool, it's not that we're sinking. But if we lose to Brighton, then lose to Liverpool, we're going down into the 3rd, 4th, 5th sort of first thing. So Sunday is vital that we get. We've lost 4 times this season in all competitions, all away from home. So home form is strong. Make sure we win against Brighton. I don't care how we do it, as long as we do. And then we've got a week off to concentrate on Liverpool, So I think this is massive. But those 2 points against Luton were massive now. That I can't stress how important that last minute winner was now.
Yeah, it definitely was, because when you put it like that, 5 points in 2 games, and then the next 2 fixtures dropping points where it could leave us. The top of the table is at that point where 2-3 games swing in one side's favour, and they're going to be heavy favourites for this league title, especially coming out of this heavy December schedule, being top of the league and whatnot. Before we were about to move on to it, but we've done team stuff, we've talked about, let's move on to it, prediction stuff. But obviously make sure you hit the like button, people. I'm going to bring the table up now. As you can see, not much change. 24 games now played, 24 predictions made. Lee's still top, 2 correct scores, 18 points. I'm in second, 2 correct scores, 16 points. James is still third, 1 correct score, 16 points. And Jordan's bottom with 1 correct score, 15 points. So the table unchanged aside from the number of games and predictions made. So yeah, Lee, you kick us off. PSV Arsenal.
Good to predict this one because you don't want to know what we're going to be picking and don't know what PSG are going to be picking. But I'm going to go for a gallant 2-1 defeat on this one. So PSV 2, Arsenal 1.
What, Lee? You built... Okay. Is that what you're doing, yeah?
I mean, that's the first time he's ever predicted a loss.
He acts like he's a fucking angel, and look at him now. Look at a gallant. He's in a gallant 2-1 loss.
Listen, we've qualified. Does it matter? Home advantage for them. I do think that we will heavily rotate. I'll be very, very surprised if we don't. It's the first time I've predicted a defeat.
You've got me here, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, yeah, before I make my prediction. I actually think we're going to lose as well, but I thought Lee would predict an Arsenal win because he always acts like that fucking, Arsenal going to win every game. So I would have gone with a draw, but now Lee's predicted a PSV win. I can't drop any points here, people, so I'm going 3-1 PSV. That's my prediction.
Heavy. Wow, you two aren't fans.
Yeah.
That's why we got the stars, Turkish. That's why we got the stars. Just remember that.
Ruthless. Go on, James.
No, you two, honestly, you two are a disgrace. 4-0 PSV. No, actually, I think we're going to have something worse than that. Hear me out. I think we're going to draw 2-2, but because I think Arteta's going to go irritatingly strong. We won't win, so we won't get confidence out of winning or anything like that. But he'll go quite a strong 11, so they'll all play significant minutes they don't need to play, and that is the worst outcome. I'd rather he rotates and we lose than he plays a strong team. We don't even get any confidence out of a good performance. We don't win it. We draw 2-2 or lose 2-1. Saka's played another 85 minutes. Saliba's played another full 90 this season. And that will frustrate me more than any other outcome that involves rotating, losing 3-0. And I know people go, but, you don't want to lose games. It doesn't matter. It's so rare in a season.
Yeah, exactly that.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing can change. Nothing could possibly change. The only way this game can impact our season is if Saliba goes off with a broken leg. That is the only way. So avoid that and don't play him. And we're Gucci. Things are good. But he's going to fucking do it. I know he's going to fucking do it.
He's not.
So,
Mikel knows. He knows. Don't worry about
so
that.
2-2, and I'm going to tear my hair out. That is a worse result. I'm telling you now. That is a worse scenario.
It is a worse scenario. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm going to be watching it with you. Make sure you subscribe, people. Matchday Live, as always. Jordan, round it up for us.
I'm with James. I don't think he'll lose because I think he'll go over a fairly strong team. So I think it's a draw. I'm torn between 1-1 and 3-3. Actually, I've got no. Sorry, I'm gonna go 2-2. I'm gonna go with James. I'm going 2-2.
Okay. Cool.
2-2.
Okay,
Desmond.
there you go, people. So, just to round off the predictions, Jordan and James have both gone 2-2. Lee's gone 2-1 PSV. I've gone 3-1 PSV. So, two of us have predicted the PSV win. Two of us have predicted a draw. No Arsenal wins predicted. Let us see your comments or your predictions, in the comment section below. Then we get the prediction table away. Hopefully, there's a change there. Next time we bring that up on the next show. Well, the next show is after PSV and before the next big one against Brighton. That one should be out Wednesday at some point, people. Straight after the PSV game, which is an early evening kickoff, I believe, on Tuesday, 5:45 our time. So don't forget that. All right, predictions done. Topics discussed. 52 minutes on the clock, and it's comments of the daytime. Who wants to kick us off?
Well, I thought all the comments were
Mine, I've got to be honest, mine are two of the most liked ones because they were brilliant. But I'll let you guys go first. I feel like I might.
I actually thought like there's probably. Oh, can I do mine because it's easy? Because I think that you guys have gone down the routes with Jordan and Jesse, like, you know what I mean, which were some of them were classics. So I thought I'd go for a nice one. Like, I just continue to love this show, and I love you guys. You know what I mean? So I went with that one in the end. Just a nice, friendly one, like, you know. But I know that you guys, I've got me at which you're going to go with, like, you know.
I'll go next. Just quickly, I've got a couple.
You want to get it in, John, don't you? I know you want to get it in. I bet I've got this one. Go on.
Just a couple. The funny one, I found a funny one here from DNYG DJ. Is just put, who's the new guy? I like that one.
Oh, I've got that one. I had that one as well. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I had that.
I have to admit, for everything great that Jess did on the podcast, I did miss Jordan. With Jess, the podcast felt too serious. No jokes, no banter. When Jordan is here, the chemistry is on another level. Big up everyone. And then there was another one that slagged me off, actually, that I wanted to kind of just get...
Only one?
Yeah, it was a few that slagged me off. It was a few.
Yeah,
There's a few.
I found.
Go on, Turkish. You go and I'll try and find the last one.
Mine's a nice one, man. Mine's from Timac. And he said this one was one of the best shows of Fourever Arsenal. It was really fun. There was everything in it: banter, football knowledge, laughs, happiness, and more than we could hope for. Turkish, the transition was smooth, surprising, and we can see you're all good people. Thanks for the content from a die-hard Arsenal fan all the way from Senegal. Love for the love. Come on, Timac. Love for that.
Nice.
Appreciate that, my guy.
From Dan Levers, because he's captured Jordan so well. I never thought I'd say this, brackets, and Jess was amazing, by the way, but Jordan coming back, immediately rubbing it in that he's on a tropical holiday when it's freezing out here in the UK, and then proceeding to go on a tirade of bullshit complaints has brought a big smile to my face.
He captured it.
Listen, the comments really good this week, actually. For those who haven't seen the last episode, it was a good episode, man. Go check it out. The comments were... You were good this week, guys. You were good.
When I was in the box at Aston Villa, a couple of the Aston Villa supporters came up to me and said, "Oh, I love the Forever Arsenal, like, you know." So it's fantastic. You get other fans listening to it as well, and and one of them said, "You know, does Jordan really know nothing about football?" Like,
You know what it is? I've got beef with the Villa fans.
which was really good.
I've actually got beef with the Villa fans. It's an ongoing joke on another podcast which I'm doing tomorrow morning on the Guardian pod. So this is hard work, but tomorrow morning is going to be absolutely painful because they hate me. The Villa fans absolutely despise me. So I'm getting the tweets all today already. Like, oh yeah, coming for tomorrow morning. Yeah, Arsenal, stick it to you. So yeah, they don't like me anyway, Lee. But it's all good. It's all good.
You know
they
what?
don't like
I've
Ty
got to
either.
give credit to some of this banter though, because Aston Villa also, if I'm not mistaken, maybe James will know, but stop me if I'm mistaken. But they used the clip of I think from the match, but used Ty as a voiceover.
Ty.
Ty's fan camera. Now listen. I want to say something because last year a bunch of Aston Villa fans, I don't know where, if it might be a fan channel or something, they quoted Ty's interview and just went off on one saying, I can't believe you allowed AFTV into our stadium for them to talk about us like this. And they was just crying and moaning and just bitching about nothing online. Now your club has turned around and used that same interview. I found it funny. I
It is
think
funny,
James
I
found
agree.
it funny. He's been nodding. A lot of us have found it funny because that is part of football banter. Stop being a wet wipe and melt about things. We've lost the game. It is what it is. It hurts, but things like that is part and parcel of football.
Well,
Sorry.
Aston Villa put it up, did they? Actually,
Yeah.
Aston Villa put it
Yeah,
up.
they
Oh,
used-
brilliant.
they used
Was it the actual club?
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the club's TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was from the club. Wow.
Yeah.
No,
That's
they
brilliant,
smashed it.
brilliant
They
banner.
smashed
That's
it.
fantastic.
They smashed
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. Brilliant banter. That's what it was. So listen, take things with a pinch of salt, people. Ty is a very lovely and humble guy. I didn't think I'd be ending this by saying good things about Ty, but trust me, he's one of the most genuine people I've met on this YouTube journey. He's a lovely guy.
Second
Always
that.
asks me about my family and my son. People like him is a rarity. So don't you take things with a pinch of salt. He loves the club. The club is him, and he is the club. I mean, there's no bigger supporter of Arsenal than he is. So, big up Ty, big up the Aston Villa fans, big up the Aston Villa social
I
team.
thought they were brilliant for Aston
No,
Villa
fuck
fans.
them.
I've got to say that on the day.
Yeah,
No, they were. They made a lot of noise. Some of their songs were very, very good. Were funny. I've got to say that, But
And
yeah,
look,
very
not,
vocal.
not to end on some Villa loving, especially because Jordan's going to hate it. Let me say this, yeah. I want Unai Emery to do well, not us, not where I want us to. By all means, if we win the league, Villa have second. Fine. I'm rooting for Emery. I want him to do well, but yeah, otherwise, as Jordan said, F him.
and
Outside
on
of
that
that.
note,
But
big up. All
welcome
right,
to
people, hit the
football.
like button. We're closing in on an hour. Usually we do overtime, so it feels like a shorter episode than usual, but still hit the like button, still get it past 1,000 likes. Leave your comments. Comments of the day. We'll be back on this Wednesday's next Fourever Arsenal show after the PSV game, and looking forward at that big Brighton fixture at the Emirates this weekend. Jordan, James, Lee, big up as always. People, hit the like button, leave your comments, and love for the love. We're at people. Peace.